El autor viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
Yo, okay, family, here we go.
MESHIACHA. Somos un ejército cautivo esperando la señal pa' comerme al enemigo. Huitzilopochtli, dime si es rival o amigo, que del ejército mexica tus guerreros siguen vivos.
Let me say the one thing.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
All right, so we're going to get to the point. I am not going to be basically saying much. I'm going to let, by the way, salute to this brother right here. Chief X debunks Tariq Nasheed's wobbleism. I think it's perfect. You know, it's always best to like let them like hear it from the horse's mouth. But before we get going on that, I want to give you like a little bit of I don't know, what do you call it? Sarcasm. You know what I mean? It's like pay attention to the mentality of this, again, incompetent confidence. And then as soon as you get sprayed on, we see like a fucking lost ant flipping and it tells you the mentality of some people. And by the way, all you desperate bastards that come in and out, guess what? It's a late show. If you don't understand how it rolls, bro, they'll never show up. Let's go, man. This is going to be funny. Let's finish it. Again, we're not going to be here long. Less than an hour.
In Temple City, California, northeast of downtown LA, this man is about to learn the hard way that assaulting a First Amendment auditor is a really bad idea.
Give me your phone, bro. Give me your phone.
Back up, man.
Why are you recording me, bro?
On trip. Back up.
Oh, you said what? I'm from EC1, I know.
That was pepper spray. Here's another view of the auditor, Riverside County Accountability, responding to the attack.
You said what? I'm from EC1, I know.
The auditors were filming a business from a public sidewalk, but now they focus on the man they repelled. He seems to have been blinded, and that is an RV. Next up, the sidewalk just beyond the RV. And look out, that is an SUV. Crossing the street. Oh no. No! Okay, he saw the trailer. Here he comes. Watch out. Ooh.
Just sit down, man. Sit down. I'll call the ambulance for you. Sit down, man. I'll call the ambulance.
That's one of the auditors trying to help.
Yo, Come over here. Follow my voice. Follow my voice, man. Follow my voice. You're good. Slow down. Stop. All right, the curb is one step away from you, man. Just sit down. Right there. There you go. Let me borrow your phone. I'll call the cops for you, man. Let me borrow your phone. I'll call the cops for you. You want me to call the cops for you or not?
Can you just call them for me?
Bro, I don't have a phone. I need to borrow your phone. Just unlock it. I'll call for you, man. Don't trip. Dude, you need help.
Good, bro.
You need help, man. Don't you want help? Hey, call the ambulance for this guy, man. Yo, just sit down, man. Just sit down.
Right there, that's your car right there. That's your car right there.
Money on my head, bro. I'm bleeding in my eyes.
Here, come here.
Hold my hand, he said. I'm bleeding in my eyes.
Sit down. Sit down right here.
That guy with the radio and watching the auditors
Hey, get him some water, man.
from the business they were recording.
Get him some water.
What'd you hit him with?
Pepper spray, man. It's just pepper spray. Chill out, man. Chill out, man. Chill out. Get him some water. Come on. Hurry up. Help him out. Dude, help the guy out. Bring him some water.
Bro,
You got-
you just go give me some water, bro.
You got water in your car or not? Yo.
He attacks the people, had nothing to do with him, and they still help him out. But, you know, this is what I mean by why it's important to really pay attention to everything that's surrounding you and the actions of people. That's a prime example of how you don't know what you're talking about. And then when you get kind of like debunked, you go around lost in the sauce and shit. Here's the example. All right, man, let's finish it off.
Came off the boat, went into the Aboriginal society, and immediately started to communicate with the Aboriginal people there. That means that there had to have been some type of previous contact for them to understand.
Video clip, and then I'm gonna chop up each point he made and throw it back in his face. Okay, let me okay, there we go. Okay, here we go. First of all, I think everybody can hear me good, right? Hit a 8 if you can. Let me just play this.
In fact, the boats that Columbus used.
Now, can y'all hear that brief part of the video and me well? And I'll continue once I see some number 8s. Okay, thank you, Donnie Williams. Here we go. Let's go.
In fact, the boats that Columbus used, they were owned by Moors.
One of the most famous translators.
In fact, the boats that Columbus used, they were owned by Moors.
One of the most famous translators, his name is Mateo da Costa. He actually was one of the black translators who came from France, and he served as a translator for the Portuguese.
Columbus definitely brought black translators with him coming to the Americas. The Nino brothers, more specifically. Pedro Alonso Nino was well-renowned traveler and explorer.
But what's interesting is why would Columbus bring translators? Because it meant that if he brought African translators, they must have been speaking to African people here. Because why do you need someone to interpret if you don't speak the language and they don't speak the language? So there had to have been a commonality between the two people.
But of course, you know, you get rid of all of that with Columbus, who didn't know where the hell he's going, but he had black people with him. Pizarro had black people with him. Balboa had black people with them. Magellan had black people with them. The technology for sailing, the astrolabe, all this stuff came from either the Moors or the Swahili.
When Columbus came to one of the islands and he brought one of his black translators with him, it's documented that the translator came off the boat, went into the Aboriginal society, and immediately started to communicate with the Aboriginal people there. That means that there had to have been some type of previous contact for them to understand each other's language. In fact, the boats that...
That is such... Hold on. Come on back to me. That is such hogwash. Every single claim made in that 1 minute and 30-second clip is total bullshit and hogwash and fake ass history. Prove that shit, Chief X. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Point by point.
Columbus used, they were owned, the boats that Columbus used, they were owned by Moors.
Pause right there. Let's pause right there. He said the boats that Columbus used were, let me just hear it again. Make sure.
The most famous
In fact, the boats that Columbus used, they were owned by Moors.
He said the boats that Columbus used were owned by Moors. When he says that, he's under the impression or trying to tell you in talking that old played out shit that Moors are black people. They are not black people. Web Funk, are you talking about me crazy or Tariq Nasheed? Because I've blocked you before. And I said I only block people for habitual disrespect. I don't block nobody for disagreeing or arguing with me. But maybe you're talking about Tariq Nasheed. Okay, I see. Thank you. I had to be clear because I've been seeing you last week on other people's site slander me. Watch your step over here. Okay, we good. Well, let us be good when you're on them other people's live streams, okay? Because I see you. I see everything. Okay, so he's telling people and teaching people in his previous things that Moors were black people. Moors were not black people, y'all. Let me go show you. Moors were Arabs and Berbers who conquered the Iberian Peninsula, aka Spain. Black folk ain't had nothing to do with conquering Spain or the Iberian Peninsula. Black folks weren't Moors. This is what a Moor is. See, what happened in the conscious community, people got to tripping on on the etymology of the word Moor. That threw people off and played a mind game. Fuck the etymology of the word. Worry about who a Moor is, not the etymology of the word Moor. Because when you get into the etymology, you may see that it means dark, and then people are just going to all automatically equate it to black people because they see it means dark or whatever. Erroneously. Worry about who a Moor is, and this is who a Moor is. A Moor is a member of a northwestern African Muslim people of mixed Berber and Arab descent. You niggas ain't of no Berber or Arab descent at all. In the 8th century, they conquered the Iberian Peninsula, but were finally driven out of their last stronghold in Granada at the end of the 15th century. So you guys have to get into dates and chronology. Anywhere you look up what a Moor is or who the Moors are, they're Berbers and Arabs. And Berbers and Arabs enslaved West and Central Africans, Sub-Saharan Africans. Okay? Berbers and Arabs are not you. Moors are not black people. They're people all around Morocco and Algeria, but they don't even go by that name. So it's just an old played out name. Okay? So first thing he was wrong about. Let's continue.
Hey, fam, real quick. This is what he's talking about. Just to let you know, real quick. I don't want to interject because, like I said, I'm gonna let Chief X speak. Again, I got respect for people that protect their people, teach their people the right things that they should be teaching. So he's saying that just like this right here, Shem, Ham, and these are like Libyans right here. When you see what this book is actually writing about, like it's pointing out Ham here in specifics, but these are the Libyans. The mix, and what he's talking about is a mixture of these people here. All right, let's continue.
Continue.
One of the most famous translators, his name is Mateo da Costa. He actually...
Oh my God, girl, who is this chick and where does she come from? She has no credentials or no nothing. She's spouting nonsense, but let's go.
Was one of the... His name is Mateo da Costa. He actually was one of the black translators who came from France, and he served as a translator for the Portuguese.
Columbus
Pause. They keep saying these people were translators and shit. Let me kill that noise real quick. But let me hear him say. He's going to say the same bullshit. Watch.
Definitely brought black translators with him coming to the Americas. The Nino brothers, more specifically. Pedro Alonso Nino was well-renowned traveler and explorer.
Well, what's interesting is why would Columbus bring translators? Because it meant that if he brought African translators, they must have been speaking to African people here. Because why do you need someone to interpret if you don't speak the language and they don't speak the language? So there had to have been a commonality between the two people.
This is they call him Baba Kaba Khomeini. He used to be Booker T. But Kaba Khomeini, he's a devil. He is the same man who teach melanin gives you superpowers, and he knows better. He is an intentional liar and deceiver, and that's why he's in this video. It sounds good, he may sound sweet, but sometimes in the good book it says the devil can come. What is that verse? The devil will come sounding like an angel of light, but he's still the devil.
2 Corinthians.
With his tricks, right?
Chapter.
So they're talking about translators. Watch this.
But of course, because it meant that if he brought
well-renowned Pedro Alonso Nino was well-renowned.
Pedro Alonso Nino and all these translators, she said it, he said it. Well, let's go. Why did they even mention translate? This is how ignorant of history they are. First of all, they couldn't translate. You know why? Watch. Here we go. Columbus Day interpreters. Columbus Day and interpreters. Let's just read. Columbus brought Luis de Torres, an interpreter, with him during his first voyage. De Torres spoke Hebrew, Aramaic, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Latin, and some Arabic. Pause right there, people. The Native Americans didn't speak none of those languages.
Now, that's his opinion. Again, he's not fighting for our people. He's not interested in what we spoke. He's basically proving that Africans are Africans, no matter how native you think you are. But in this channel, we do prove everything. We prove everything. Now, this is from, and I've shared this with you, Max DeMont, Jews, God, and History. And, you know, egotistical bastards that claim to rule everything. They always want to put a footnote to history, to reminding you guys about certain things and shit. So on page 371 of one of their most renowned writers, this is what they say. As a footnote to history, remember, as a footnote to history, make sure you put this in your books. You can't deny this shit. We must record the fact. Remember that. As a footnote to history, okay? We must record the fact that the Indians on the Caribbean island where the flotilla first landed were greeted in Hebrew, in Arabic, by one Luis de Torres, confirming that is a footnote and as a fact. As a matter of fact, we spoke to these people in Hebrew. A Jewish interpreter aboard the flagship for Columbus was certain. So now we see, as a footnote to history, we must record the fact, for it was certain that the natives spoke either Hebrew or Arabic. Now, watch. Does he say, but we were wrong? They didn't do that? No. It was the Torres, incidentally, who discovered maize and brought it to Europe, where, with the potato, it enriched the diet of the Western man. Potato was from here, not from Europe. Maize was from here, not from Europe. Here we see that he doesn't necessarily confirm, but he doesn't deny. He confirms, though, that they spoke to us in Hebrew. So again, I appreciate this man for what he does. Some things maybe he's off because it's not his interest, and I get it. That's why I'm here for. Let's continue.
Therefore, he can interpret. Let's go. Because he expected to encounter Asians. That's why he brought interpreters. But they failed to tell you that in the video. Because they didn't know and they're ignorant of history. They just race hustling you guys. Okay? Let's read it again. Torres, an interpreter with him, Columbus brought Luis de Torres an interpreter with him during his first voyage. De Torres spoke Hebrew, Aramaic, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Latin, and some Arabic. Because he expected to encounter Asians, Columbus felt de Torres' proficiency in Hebrew and Aramaic would be particularly useful. Because they didn't know, he thinking, hey, he might come into some motherfucking Asians, right? However, this is what they failed to tell you. De Torres' proficiency in these languages was of little use in communicating with the natives who spoke an entirely different language. Sit the fuck down with that dumb shit. So, what happened? Columbus had to rely on indigenous interpreters. So all three of them people talking about interpreters and maybe they spoke the same language and trying to go. But one other thing they leave out. That all these interpreters are mulattoes. Mixed niggas. Let's go. All of them. The brother said who? Pedro Alonso Nino. Let's blow it up. And see who the hell Pedro Alonso Nino and these Nino brothers is, right? Pedro Alonso was a what? Afro-Spanish explorer. See, they want to give you the impression that these people were just straight black folk. They weren't. They're biracials. I don't even consider biracial black. I'll call them just what the fuck they is, biracial. And that's fine. I'm not a racist. But I'm just one who does not agree with a person denying one side of their race and only representing one side of their race. I'm just not that kind of person. That's just my personal thing. So Pedro was an Afro-Spanish explorer because them niggas who was running around with Columbus and all these other explorers were children of African women they didn't fucked and had babies with. It's the same thing happened in the Arab world. Arabs had babies with Africans or sub-Saharan African concubines. And their offspring and those children had allegiance to who? Their Arab daddy over their mama. So these Afro-Spanish people in the same dynamic, these Afro-Portuguese people had allegiance to who? They daddy, not they mama. So they daddies is taking their children who may be, okay, here we go. Pedro Alonso Nino, an Afro-Spanish explorer, he piloted the Santa Maria during the Christopher Columbus' first voyage of the Americas in 1492 and accompanied him on his third voyage in 1498. Nino was born in Spain. He was known as El Negro. His father was Juan Nino, a Spanish sailor. And his mama was what? An unknown African woman. Because when these Arabs, Spanish, and Portuguese and shit, once they get to fucking an African woman and having kids, them kids have allegiance to their daddy. Okay? These are biracials. Right? Let's continue on. According to the folklore, Nino was one of the captured European sailors in the Ghanaian settlement of Elmina, right? Because them Portuguese was up in Ghana, and sometimes they had beef, and they might capture a white boy. So that's what his daddy was, a captured white boy in Ghana, right? So they leave all this information out. Let's go back and talk some more.
Traveler and explorer.
Well, what's interesting is why would Columbus bring translators? Because it meant that if he brought African translators, they must have been speaking to African people here. Because why do you need someone to interpret if you don't speak the language and they don't speak the language? So there had to have been a commonality between the two people.
But of course, you get rid of all of that with Columbus, who didn't know where the hell he's going, but he had...
Pause. See, this is why I be tripping on it. Like, to me, I had to stop doing this, right? Hating on a motherfucker doing great things. Now, I'm not saying Columbus and the explorers was doing great things in that sense. What I'm saying is they had shipbuilding technology in Portuguese. The Portuguese was the first to advance shipbuilding technology. And they were able to make boats that were able to cross large body oceans. Human trafficking across large body oceans never, ever, ever happened until the Portuguese developed ships that were capable of crossing large body oceans. So people are like, oh, he didn't even know where he was going. Well, goddamn it, did the Africans know what they was going? They wasn't even seafaring people. So people like to bash other races and try to make other races and try to make themselves look good, as if they knew where the fuck they was going. Matter of fact, they wasn't even seafaring people. So along with fake history, they do this hating ass shit and try to belittle shit.
Black people with them. Pizarro had black people with them. Balboa had black people with them. Magellan had black people with them.
Pause. See, but you don't see no black. You might see one black person in these pictures. But to get excited about them bringing along a black person as help, you bringing along the help, and these niggas is excited about that. Oh, they had a black person with them. Oh, and he had a black person with him. And he had a black person. Stop the cap. Calm the fuck down. They brought some help who were mixed niggas and biracials. And probably one of the people on the ship's sons or children, okay? Let's go.
The technology for sailing, the astrolabe, all this stuff came from either the Moors or the Swahili.
Oh my God. He just said the technology for sailing either came from the Moors or the Swahili. What in the fuck? Listen here, family. Nothing in this.
This is why I like this man. I appreciate him, bro. I could sit down and actually have a drink with his ass. Because he keeps it 100. Let's go. And I guess it's because we're just one of them people, bro. We're just older. You know what I mean? You don't fuck around and waste time on bullshit. It's logical, makes sense. Propaganda does not.
This video that they spit, can they prove or show and prove? Not one thing. So what happens is black Americans get to listening to this shit. Hold on. What happens is black Americans get to listen to this shit and have a shame about sub-Saharan Africa being an underdeveloped place, and it's underdeveloped in 2023. Let's just be real about it. So you can imagine in 1500. Okay, so I forgot my damn point. So what I'm saying is, hold on, let me see something.
When Columbus came,
Black people with them. The technology for sailing, the astrolabe, all this stuff came from either the Moors or the Swahili.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. He said that technology came from the Moors or the Swahili. Well, I said, like, why would these devils lie like that? And just make up some fucking fake history like that? And just throw a claim out there to deceive you? Bro, J.M., I'm not high right now. If you came in late, rewind this motherfucker to the beginning. Okay? Don't come up in this motherfucker hating because your belief got tore up. Okay? So, the technology came from the Portuguese, not the Swahili, not even the Moors. The Moors were Arab and Berber. We've already decided that, and we've shown that. The Swahili was not no seafaring people. Anyway, he messed that up, even calling it the Swahili. But that's a whole nother subject I'm not even going to get into. But let's continue. Let me share my screen again. Let me make sure. Okay, let's continue.
When Columbus came to one of the islands and he brought one of his black translators with him.
What island? What's the name of this black translator?
It's and he brought one of his black translators with him. Came to one of the islands, and he brought one of his black translators.
See, these people refuse to let you know that these translators were mulattoes and biracials. They're deceiving you.
With them. It's documented that the translator came off the boat.
It's not documented. He just made that up. But let him finish.
Went into the... He brought one of his black translators with him. It's documented that the translator came off the boat, went into the Aboriginal society, and immediately started to communicate with the Aboriginal people there.
Oh my God. That is not documented nowhere. That is a blatant, devilish lie. Then he said he got off the boat and started communicating with the Aboriginal people. See, black Americans are so fucking confused. They don't even know what an Aboriginal is. For I've been trying to teach people what an Aboriginal is, and they are still confused in 2023. Matter of fact, 80% of the conscious community don't know what the fuck an Aboriginal is. Let me just show you real quick. Ah, damn. Aboriginal. Just so you know, an Aboriginal people are the original people of Australia.
Okay, so let me tackle that real quick because we got people watching this video, and I appreciate you guys being here because it's late. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of you guys that are watching this video right now, you're probably like older, like my age. I'm 50. I'm almost 50. I'm going to be 50 in a couple months. So a lot of older guys, we don't get to sleep. We don't know how to sleep. We can't sleep. And then when we go to sleep, we wake up too early and shit. And it's like, fuck, things are going by too fast. So let me answer it. Who are the real Hispanics and Latinos? First of all, I want you to pay attention to this real quick. This right here, this picture. The word Latino comes from the word Ladino, right? And the first people that were expressing the Ladino concept were basically Spaniards or so-called foreigners that were born in Spain or Iberian Peninsula. It says the first Africans from Spain were known as Ladinos. So just Latino. You see, so it don't apply to us. Or Hispanicized Africans. And were soldiers, servants, settlers, and slaves. You understand that? Soldiers, servants, settlers. So invaders, rapists, murderers, people that actually fed our people to dogs. They helped the white man do this shit. But they were also slaves to a certain extent. More what they call indentured servants, okay? They began to arrive in the Americas as early as the 15th century. So that 1619 bullshit is total bullshit, like I've said it since 2022. Many as auxiliaries to the Spanish and Portuguese explorers. You understand it? Auxiliaries, helpful people. They were there to help them. They weren't just a sideshow, bro. They were not here to help us. They were doing the same thing the gringos were doing to our people. So whenever you see like 1492 shit happening to natives, it wasn't just white folks. It was so-called Sephardic Jews, Anglo-Saxons. It was also Negros. It was also, like Arabics. Like this may be new to you, not new to us. It says, as Matthew Rostall states, from the very onset of Spanish activity in the Americas, Africans were present both as voluntary expeditioners and as involuntary colonists. You see what I'm saying? Many people of African descent initially saw the passage to the New World as means of bettering their social and economic position. Landers notes, giving their numbers and roles in Spanish port cities like Seville and their generally depressed economic conditions, it is not surprising that both free and enslaved Africans hoped to improve their lots by crossing the Atlantic on the earliest voyages of the exploration and conquest, which means that they didn't give a fuck about our people. That's what happens. Those are facts. Hey, sis, good to have you here. I haven't seen you here for a couple. It's all good. We get busy sometimes. So that's one. And then this other page, which I shared with y'all, but it's very clear. It's not surprising to many of us to note that not all of the first Africans who assisted the Spanish and Portuguese came as slaves. See that? An untold number of free people of African descent and black invaders, not conquistadors, invaders born in Africa or in the Iberian Peninsula also accompanied Spanish conquistadors or invaders, as well as Portuguese invaders, such as Hernán Cortés and Ponce de León. So like this history should never be anywhere far from them. This is attached to them. This history of 1492, the invasion, applies to negros as much as it applies to blancos, bro. It's the only channel that's been teaching this. Seriously, no offense to anybody that's been teaching something similar, but I'm the only one that's been bringing out all of these things. I have a metralletas to all 4 of them. You're all getting it. None of you guys are getting away with it. Now, in regards to who are the real Hispanics or Latinos or Ladinos, well, I think you could say who are the real indigenous. And I did a class a couple days ago, in case you didn't know, on corn. Corn is our identifier. Corn is in our DNA. Do you understand what I mean? Let me see what this guy's saying. They were called Ladinos. They were called the first black people who came to the Spanish and Portuguese in 1600. Were those who were born. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. Basically, thank you. Okay, thank you for, okay, thank you. Okay, cool, we're good. They call it indigenous culture, Latin culture. You know why it is, because they want to take your spirit away from you. They want to make you feel like you're not part of this land. Because, see, if you're indigenous to this land, they want to make sure that you don't have no connection to that at all, because this is power. Being from this land is power to you. Like, trust and believe, bro. They cannot take nothing from you when you understand who you are, deeply who you are. When you understand who you deeply are. That's why I say, you ask me, who is Latinos or who is Hispanics? Our identification, okay, I'll say it like this, and I appreciate what my wife said. It's not my thought. My wife said this. He gave Europeans wheat. He gave Asians rice. He gave us corn. That should tell you a lot of who we are. Let's continue.
The people who left out of Africa in 25,000 years later.
Hold on, sis. Sorry. I missed you. And by the way, Golf Shoe, thank you for being here, brother. If you're like consistent, I always do that for my people, bro. All the time. East side, west side. I think I did that for you, sis. But that's what I do for my gente and shit. Let's see. Beat active 8075. Well, good to have you here, bro. That's a good message. So if you're consistent, I'll do that for you, man. Because, you know, like, I appreciate you being here. Let's go.
These humans landed in Australia and or islands around Australia. So original Australians, Tasmanian people are Aboriginal people. Not black folk, not Africans, not Asians, not white folk. Only original Australians. Show and prove, Chief X. Aboriginal. Relating to the indigenous peoples of Australia and their languages. Did it say relating to the peoples of Africa? Did it say the people of Europe? The people of the Americas? The people of China, Japan? Nope. It says relating to the indigenous people of Australia or their languages. Right? So when you go deeper, people tried to argue this with me. Because they was looking at this. Let me just show you. Where it says adjective. This is why I know they don't even have a grasp of the English language. And a lot of people need to go back to college and study. Even if you just go to college, it teaches you certain things. Right? Fuck this adjective. You want to know what the Aboriginal is? You go to the noun. What is a noun, people? Let's go back to elementary school. A noun is a person, place, or thing. A person, place, or thing. Okay. So what is an Aboriginal? A person or people belonging to one of the indigenous people of Australia. You niggas don't belong to no people of Australia. Okay? Let me make this smaller. Hold on. And then when you go down, it tells you right here. Also, I mean, all you got to do is, this is so easy to look up. Who is an Aboriginal person? The statutes have generally defined an Aboriginal or an Indigenous person as a person who, what? Is a descendant of an Indigenous inhabitant of Australia. Or a member or a person of the what? Aboriginal race of Australia. That's it. So these abos and all these people talking this old dumb shit don't even know what an Aboriginal is. We not Australians. We are not of the original people at all. If you want to get technical, we're mutants. I'm a mutant, and everybody listening to me is a mutant. You're a mutation. Okay, so there's something else. I said we weren't going to be here long, but I've chopped up every claim that they've made in this 1.5-minute video.
That means that there had to have been some type of previous contact for them to understand each other's language. Came off the boat, went into the Aboriginal society, and immediately started to communicate with the Aboriginal people there. That means that there had to have been some type of previous contact for them to understand each other's language.
Total bullshit. Total nonsense. Now, there was one other translator that they mentioned. I just want to show you so we can be clear. Was it Pedro Nino? Oh, man. I got this one, De Torres. Okay. Like, these people all, let me just go on through this and we're gonna finish it, right? This dude wrote a recent article about, it was just out, March the 3rd, which is what, 3 days ago. And it says some problems with They Came Before Columbus. Of course there's problems with it. The whole book has been retired in trash, right? Even the Olmec heads, they used to think they had braids and shit. And we had to show that they were feathers on the back of their heads, not braids. Y'all didn't know that, huh? The Quetzal feather. The Quetzal feather. Look it up. It's not braids, it's the Quetzal feathers on the back of their head, which is attached to the helmet, not under the helmet. Okay? So They Came Before Columbus is easily Ivan Van Sertima's best known work and also his most controversial. I previously wrote an article on the Medium which explored some of the flaws. You know what? Do I want to go through this whole thing? I'm going to just put it in the... Oops, hold on. One second, y'all. I posted an article in the chat. It's a new article. But let me just read a little bit of it at least, okay? They just talking about flaws in his work. Before I get into some of the problems with Van Sertima's work, I want to mention here that there is a detailed chapter on this topic in his book. Okay. The main problem with They Came Before Columbus comes down to the lack of historical references and sources. The book is horrible. There's no references or sources, historical references or sources in there. Van Sertima argues that Africans from the 25th dynasty of Egypt sailed to the Americas, but he offered no historical evidence to support this claim. He did say that. Let me tell you something, people. The 25th, why did he say the 25th dynasty? Just listen, just think about this for a second. Because it was the only black dynasty. So of all the dynasty, he skipped over them all to focus on the 25th dynasty and tell you that the 25th dynasty sailed to the Americas, but he offered no historical evidence to support this claim. Let me tell you something, family. He changed later because they came for him. This whole article is debunking everything that Ivan Van Sertima taught. They call it basically pseudo-historical movement he started with this black folk coming to America's jargon. Okay?
Okay, so let me show this real quick. I had tried to make this a actual good moment. I think that it's about time that I may just have to include it in this situation here.
So, let me just come on back. I don't want
Hold on. Is he done?
to read the whole article. I put it in the chat.
Oh, my bad.
But this is what you need to know.
My bad.
Ancient Egyptians had no fucking clue that there was even a Western Hemisphere. Let's just be real. I will pay anybody immediately to their Cash App if they can prove that the ancient Egyptians knew that the Western Hemisphere existed. They didn't.
You guys have seen a sketch of it or something.
How did they look?
Voilà, les Égyptiens anciens ressemblaient à cette terre que vous voyez. Voici le premier roi de la terre.
Here you have the first king of the earth, the very first. And the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, looked like this man.
Cet homme a des traits, si vous voulez, plus, comme nous disons, vous m'aviez dit tout à l'heure de ne pas employer un terme, mais sur le plan scientifique, c'est un terme consacré. En tout cas, il a des traits de la race noire plus marqués que celles de presque tous ceux qui sont ici dans cette salle.
You can see that he has those traits that are associated with the black
feature.
Those features associated with.
Now, I'm gonna share this, fam. I'm not one that believes that Egyptians were white. Okay, I don't. I know there's some people that are pushing that. I don't know, and I don't believe it, and I don't really care, to be honest with you. But I just don't believe they're white. They're not our people. That's all I care about. But if you can see this picture, it looks kind of Asiatic. Interesting. Anyways, let's go.
The black race, which are even more pronounced than many of the people here. It was this man who unified the Nile Valley from Upper to Lower Egypt, and this was 3,300 years before Jesus Christ.
Yes. Je passe donc, ce que je vais dire avant de passer au suivant, c'est que vous allez le voir donc, déjà d'après ses traits, et les traits aussi des pharaons qui vont suivre.
You can see by his features and those of the pharaohs and kings that will follow it,
que les anciens Égyptiens n'étaient pas des blancs qui seraient devenus progressivement noirs et en perdant leurs traits.
You can see that they were not a people that were started as whites and became progressively more black.
Mais qu'au départ, c'était des noirs authentiques qui, à la basse époque, vont se métisser avec des blancs.
They were instead a black people, an authentic black people, but which never ceased to be blacks.
You guys hear that? Which never ceased to be black. Let's repeat that again real quick, my friends, because I need you guys to hear that, okay? This is why when I bring out the book, The History of Africa, or The Historique of Africa by Lou Africanus, which is not a white man, he's very clear on who the Africans are, okay? And Blackamoors and all of those guys, all right? And by the way,
avec des blancs.
Anybody that believes that the Moors were white people, y'all are dumb. Let's go.
They were instead black people, and authentic black people, but which never ceased to be blacks.
Donc, attendez, je dis en un mot. Donc, vous voyez que les anciens Égyptiens étaient des Noirs comme tous les...
So, you guys got to remember this, okay, family? You got to remember and put this to thought. If blacks were Egyptians and we're Israelites, who enslaved? What is our relationship with them? Have you guys ever thought of that? To this current date, Bible is past, present, future. We're in Egypt all over again. We see it in a dollar bill. Who came and conquered? It wasn't just one shade. It was two shades. And by the way, shades mean, and white and black is not a color, family. They're shades. So for any of you guys that are calling yourselves white or black, you guys are calling yourselves shades. You're not colors. Anyhow, be mindful. This is deep. Let's go.
Les autres naturels de l'Afrique, c'est tout.
You can see that the first the Egyptians were black men, like black men that you see in Africa now.
Ici,
that's the depiction that he's going to break down, okay? So keep in mind, family, Egyptians enslaved Israelites. We're back at it again, family. Let's go.
Cette reproduction est importante.
This is a very important reproduction.
C'est dans le tombeau de Ramsès III.
This is found in the tomb of Ramses III.
20e dynastie.
The 20th dynasty.
Vous avez le personnage de gauche.
That person on the left.
C'est le type général, donc, représenté par l'artiste égyptien lui-même.
This is the general type represented by the Egyptian artist himself.
General type representation of himself. Y'all see the profile, you see the skin tone. It is very clear who these people look like. All right, let's go.
Le second, c'est le type général de tous les Européens, si vous voulez, de tous les Occidentaux.
And the second person or personage is the general type of all the Europeans represented by the artist.
Le troisième, c'est le type général de tous les autres Noirs de l'intérieur du continent.
And the third personage is the general type representing all the other groups found in the interior of the continent.
Of Africa.
Of the continent of Africa.
Oui.
You guys heard that? He says that everybody, the interior of Africa, looks just like this. So when Aboriginal, this Aboriginal concept here, when you guys say that we are from somewhere in Siberia, my question to y'all is this: where's your diet at? Where's your history of eating corn, maize? Where's your history of using tools that actually break down the maize? Because that's where the corn is. You guys have no dietary history of that. And then, okay, so if we're Mongols, what other nation in the world is just like so-called Mexicans? Because you guys attack them a lot. Nowhere. However, you guys look like these guys. Make it make sense. There's no other nation anywhere in the world that you could say, oh, I've been to Asia, and those guys are just like Mexicans. Or those guys are just like, Salvadoreños. No, nowhere. But I can go to Africa and be like, hey, man, I know a guy that looks just like you back home. Yeah, I could do that. Let's go.
Found in the interior of the continent.
Of Africa.
Of the continent of Africa.
Oui. Le quatrième, c'est le type général de tous les Sémites habitant l'Asie.
The fourth personage is the general type of all of the Semites.
Would you hear that, family? Man, I'm telling you right now. Did you hear that? This says, look, this is what the Semites look like. Look.
The fourth personage is the general type of all of the Semites living in that area of Asia.
Ceci est un tableau ethnographique. Voilà les races qui existaient à l'époque, telles que les Égyptiens les ont connues, vues et représentées.
This is
The different races.
The different races represented by the artist, and these are the races that existed in his time as he saw them.
Nous sommes à 1200 avant Jésus-Christ.
We are 1,200 years before.
You guys hear that? This is what they saw at that time. But yet people ignore this. IOIC, One West, they don't want to show this picture. They just want to show pictures like this and then say that we're the same people. Oh, but we're the ones that mix. Yeah, they look African. And they didn't mix. But they're not Hamitic. So make it make sense. Anyways, that's one of my points. Here's another one. Look, I've been teaching in this channel. Well, first of all, I want to say this. This channel's been on since last year. I started in May. And then something happened with my files, whatever. I never pushed the 12 tribe chart. In this channel, I never did that. Never have. Never will. I always have been saying that our gente is Israel. We're not saying no other ones are. I started off like that. I had left the camp, but I saw that there was hardly anybody teaching about our people. Now, yeah, you have brothers that are teaching Northern Kingdom stuff, and like the brother, what's his name? Jose Vega was debating with what's that other big group, older group? Whitemen and Watchmen, and other brothers were teaching too. Hey, Shalom, he said. So I get it, you know what I'm saying? Like there were others, but I'm like, man, but I just felt like there was something left behind. Now, me particularly, I wasn't born here, so I had the privilege of being born down south. So I got to see the experience of down there. So that's why I bring material here. Now, as time went on, my research went on, I discovered that it wasn't just certain people that are conquering and conquered us. As time went on, I was like, wait a minute. Why am I finding myself with this material? So all this time, family, all I ever pushed was our gente. Nothing more, nothing less. And my only purpose is to hopefully wake y'all up, hopefully make you research on your own and find out truly if you're about the scripture, because you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. You can't keep some of the laws and not all, and then think you're a Hebrew or an Israelite. You can't say, oh, I know all the commandments, right? Yeah, shalom and barak, however y'all want to say it. I'm not making fun of that or anything, but I don't talk like that. But you can't even keep the basic laws, like simple stuff. Anyways, so family, I always appreciate that. But now let's watch this, okay? The reason I'm saying this is because I've been teaching that a nation of people came with another nation of people. People that look like this right here, okay? People that look like this came with people that look like that. If you look from a distance, they look like so-called Caucasian people, right? But I think that they're like more Asian. So this pair came. They weren't alone, fam. There is such a thing as white and black conquistadors. And then, if you guys seen a movie like The Exorcist, in any exorcism, right, in the movies, right? Because I've never seen one live. They're always demanding one thing from the spirit. They're like, "What's your name? Give me your name." Hold on a second. Give me your name. And as soon as they expose themselves, that demon goes crazy. So all I've been doing is trying to expose that spirit. I wanted to wake that spirit up because I wanted to expose itself. And guess what? It's happening in our very own eyes. Look. This used to be talk like what we were used to. You or raza, right? Our so-called Hispanics. We're familiar with this talk from a certain type of people. with the lighter shade, a way lighter shade, right? Watch this. But now that spirit is waking up in another type of people. Yeah, check it.
When the land is conquered, that means that people who used to own this land no longer own it, no longer possess it. This is our land now. This is the republic. And we, and millions of my brothers and sisters, were born and raised in a republic. If you want your land back, drop your nuts and take it. But all this, we were here first. This is really our land. You're the illegals. How am I the illegal? America has been a country for almost 300 years. Can't keep using that shit. You lost a long time ago. And to be honest with you, we really don't care. That red, white, and blue fly all across this nation, no other flag. Maybe one day you'll get in your head that you have lost the war, and that this land now belongs to the Americans and now belongs to the Republic. Maybe at some point you will get that. But this is our land, America land.
You see, family? So you guys that like to listen to Bob Marley and that Buffalo Soldier crap, guess what? Do you guys find it ironic that in 1870 and 1880, there was a Buffalo massacre? Yet at the same time, in 1870 through 1876 and 78, there were Buffalo soldiers. Now, why would you call yourself a Buffalo soldier if you're here to fight the natives? Wouldn't you call yourself a native soldier? No, their mission wasn't to fight the natives only. Family, this history in this country goes way back. That's why I call the Black Plague, because it is literally still here. Okay? It doesn't stop. Now, I'm going to throw this in here because, man, I'm so disappointed. I'm just going to say I'm disappointed, family. And I'm just going to throw it out there. You know, I don't care if a shoe fits, wear it. But listen, there are certain people that are our people. And I'm going to stay on my ground because, again, I have enough history behind it. Now, do I say all of them? No, but I do know that these particular people study something more than just the Old Testament. And you can't be privileged. You can't be the privileged.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú. Tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.